Recent wave of arrests in Gauteng's police force has brought to light the alarming extent of corruption in the South African police service. Over the past week alone, 7 police officers in Gauteng have been detained for a range of serious offences, underscoring the systematic issues with law enforcement. The arrests highlight the need for urgent reform in the police force and raise significant concerns about the integrity of law enforcement. I'm now joined by Lesiba Thobakgale, who is the SA Police Union National Spokesperson. A very good afternoon, Lesiba. Thank you once again for joining us. You must be concerned as the police at these elements that are dirtying the names of the men and women in blue.
Thank you so much, Bravuyo, for having us, and greetings to your viewers. Indeed, it is a concern to us, and we have to state it that we clearly condemn any form of criminality, which includes even corruption. And, in where there are such cases, it is our principle that the law should take its course. But we're also saying that management of the South African police services should be worried about such types of incidents that are reported where, you find that members get to be arrested, being alleged of those types of being involved in criminal activities in this regard. And we must say, Bravuyo, that also, as much as there are cases that, you find that those allegations that are, are against our members, they may happen to be true. There are also some allegations that you find that at some times, more especially if you are dealing with issues that relates to drug dealers, some of them, they use allegations of such as a form of a revenge, and also as a form of to say the police must stay away from us, because then some members would then, hold a restraint and not want to really execute their constitutional mandate in regards to that. But we have a problem of corruption in this country. That is why during the 2022 National Congress that was held in Polokwane by Sapu, we took a resolution that speaks about revolution against corruption, drugs and gender-based violence, where we are saying that revolution needs to start with us being the working class. And the resolution we have taken, clearly it outlines, when we looked at some of these elements that are problematic, which is in this case is corruption. And if we don't, when we deal with corruption, deal with both the corrupter and also the corrupted, then it means that you only deal with the worker. We deal with the law enforcement officer, but we don't deal with someone who also participated in such criminal activity. Then it means that, the practice will still continue. So that is why then we are also saying that in dealing with corruption, we really need to make sure that we are playing that such a balanced act. And further to that...
But I guess in a country where corruption is so endemic, it would have been... there's no way that police, would be immune to it. We're seeing instances of, religious leaders, priests, we're seeing teachers, we're seeing, everyone from every, sector of society, where this, corruption is a problem. But do you, as unions, for example, play your part in stemming this tide? Do you think there are enough safeguards to really, at the very least, close the gap?
Yeah, you're asking quite a very important question, Bravuyo, in this regard. I think going back to that resolution, it gives us an action that we are currently embarking on as a trade union to say, when we are in the meetings and when we are meeting with our members, to really remind one another, more especially to say they must not be involved in criminal activities, they must not be involved in drugs, they must not be involved in gender-based violence. So that responsibility... And
people must blow the whistle and arrest their own if need be.
Remember, the law enforcement on its own, it means that the law is the one that is supreme. I mean, we have seen police officers arresting one of their own in this regard. They don't get, if there's allegations and if maybe there are traps that are done, it is being done by law enforcement. It is being done by one of their own. That is not something new. It is something that has been happening, and it keeps on happening if the instances happen to come. But a principle that we are on here is that it really doesn't need to get there. We need to make sure that we become proactive in fighting corruption. That's why we clearly welcomed, the establishment of the BMA that include, your SIU. The forum that was established yesterday by the Minister of Home Affairs to really tackle the issue of corruption, because such initiatives within the law enforcement fraternity, they really are helping us to look at what is it that we need to do, how can we be proactive instead of only being reactive when it comes to the issues of corruption. But the issue of ethics is important, Bravuyo, to say that instilling ethics and also reminding one another about ethics within the public service at large, or even when one looks at the law enforcement fraternity itself, because law enforcement, they are the ones who are clearly faced with all sorts of criminality that they have to activities.
Lesiba Thobakgale, let me thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. You're the spokesperson for the National Police Union.